The Galactic Interspecies Training Academy had seen thousands of species pass through its echoing halls, but none challenged its instructors quite like humans. They were the unpredictable constant in every simulation, the variable no model could fully account for. Instructor Velara, a towering Craxian whose scales shimmered like polished obsidian, had spent 3 decades training cadets from every civilized world. She prided herself on reading body language across 47 species, on knowing precisely when a situation would escalate. But today, all that experience felt suddenly insufficient. The combat observation dome vibrated with nervous energy as 24 cadets watched the exercise unfolding far below. At the center of the reinforced arena stood Arya Chen, a human barely in her 3rd decade, drowning in a standard-issue training suit that seemed comically oversized on her slight frame. Across from her 30 meters of open ground away crouched Core, a juvenile Vrathcar predator whose species had dominated 17 worlds before achieving spaceflight. His obsidian claws scraped the metallic floor, each talon theoretically capable of puncturing starship hull plating. 4 eyes, arranged in a diamond across his angular skull, locked onto Arya with predatory focus that made veteran soldiers uneasy. He was only 6 months old by human standards, yet already as tall as Arya's shoulder. Adult Vrathcar grew to 3 times that size and were classified as apex predators in the Galactic Council's threat assessments. "This is insane," muttered Cadet Jixila, a pale Polonian whose tentacles writhed with anxiety. "Humans are prey species. Category for durability index. That cub could tear her apart in seconds." Velara's translator crackled as she activated the comm system. "Cadet Chen, you may abort the exercise at any time. Core's neural inhibitor will activate immediately if you feel threatened." Arya's reply was calm, even amused. "Thanks, instructor, but we're good." Below them, Core began his approach, not the cautious stalk of an uncertain hunter, but the confident, swaggering advance of a creature that had never known defeat. Muscles rippled beneath midnight fur. A low, resonant rumble vibrated the air, a sound that triggered instinctive flight responses in 70% of sentient species. One Trelaxian cadet fainted outright, its crystalline structure dimming as it slumped to the floor. Arya didn't flinch. She stood balanced, arms loose at her sides, watching Core with an expression Velara recognized instantly, though she had never seen it on a supposed prey species. It was the gaze of one hunter evaluating another. Core closed the distance. 10 meters. 5. 3. Then he lunged. The movement was blinding. Vrathcar cubs could accelerate from stillness to 40 kilometers per hour in under a second. His jaws yawned wide, serrated teeth gleaming, claws extended like curved daggers. Every instructor reached for the emergency shutdown simultaneously. Arya laughed, not hysterically, not fearfully. It was delighted, almost joyful laughter, the sound of someone encountering something unexpected and wonderful. Before Core could reach her, Arya moved. Her shift in weight was subtle, her motion impossibly fluid. She simply wasn't where he expected her to be. His momentum carried him past her by centimeters, displaced air ruffling her dark hair as he sailed past. Arya extended one hand and booped him on the nose, She actually pooped him. Core skidded into a tumbling heap, more stunned than injured. He spun, for eyes wide with bewilderment. Nothing not prey, not rival cubs had ever dodged him. Certainly, nothing had ever touched him mid-attack, and absolutely nothing had made that peculiar high-pitched, squeaking sound humans called laughter. His shock lasted 3 seconds. Then instinct surged back. He snarled a Vrathcar's evolutionary weapon, a sound designed over millennia to freeze prey in terror. The air rippled visibly with the force. The observation windows trembled in their frames. Arya's grin only widened. Nice try. She didn't retreat. She didn't raise her hands. She simply stood there, eyes sparkling with a quality the Galactic Council had never found a word for. Courage, absurdity, audacity, some uniquely human fusion of all three. Core charged again, this time genuinely angry. But something fundamental had shifted. He no longer moved like a hunter. He moved like a creature trying to reassert a worldview that had been abruptly destabilized. Arya pivoted aside with another effortless dodge, adding a playful pirouette that looked more like dance than combat. As she passed him, she tapped the side of his head. "You're getting predictable, buddy." Chaos erupted in the observation deck. Cadets shouted in 17 languages. 3 more fainted. Velara hovered over the emergency shutdown, yet something held her back. Arya's body language, her calm, her tone, it all indicated something remarkable. She wasn't fighting for survival. She was playing. Core, after a third failed attack, halted abruptly. He sat back on his haunches, head tilted, confusion radiating from all 4 eyes. His snarl died away. The galaxy's youngest apex predator suddenly looked very small, very young, and very unsure. Arya approached slowly, hands visible, posture relaxed. She reached into her pocket and withdrew a small strip the scanners identified as processed meat jerky. "You know what your problem is?" she said conversationally, tossing the treat toward him. Core caught it reflexively, gaze never leaving her face. "You've been told you're scary your whole life. Everyone sees the claws and the bite, and they run." He chewed slowly, uncertain. "But humans?" Arya continued, lowering herself into a cross-legged seat. "We domesticated wolves. We befriended things that wanted to eat us. It's kind of our thing." Core blinked. The logic, however alien, slotted into place in his young mind. She smelled like prey, moved like a superior hunter, and offered food like a pack leader, a friend. She held up another piece of jerky. "So, your call? Keep trying to intimidate me, or be friends. Friends get treats." Core hesitated for a long, quiet moment. Then, with a movement that would have been comical if it weren't so monumental, he padded closer and flopped down beside her, his bulk nearly knocking her over. Arya laughed again and scratched behind his auditory ridge, precisely where the instructor notes indicated Vrathcar were most sensitive. The deep rumble in his chest shifted pitch. It took the translators a full second to confirm it. Core was purring. The observation deck fell into stunned silence. Velara finally found her voice. "Someone explain to me what just happened." Cadet Jixela whispered, trembling. "Humans. That's what happened. And for once, No one offered a single word of disagreement. Subscribe for more.